On today's special Super Bowl edition of the show, we're going to go over some of the greatest FanBoy commercials that we saw today. What's up, everybody? It's Totally a Fan, the show where I, a total fan, come to you and I bring you news with movies, TV shows, comics, games, all that stuff related to the world of fandom, and I bring that information to you. Now, before we get started today, I want to go over two very important things. The first, today we lost Mr. Philip Seymour Hoffman, passed away today. I'll go further into those details on tomorrow's episode, but definitely want to pay my respects to him. And then the second news is the Seahawks won the Super Bowl! Now, unfortunately, my team didn't make it this year, but the Seahawks won, so congratulations to them. So for today's special Super Bowl episode, we're going over some of the FanBoy commercials that aired today. Now, I didn't have a time to write them all on special notes, so I have it all on my phone, so I'm just going to quickly go over them in chronological order, and I'm going to present this information as it goes along. Now, the first topic of business, the commercial for the movie Noah. Now, I decided to pick this commercial just because it is going to be a really good movie. In my opinion, it looks great, and whether or not you're religious, this movie will play to certain fans of religion, and as a FanBoy show, I figured I'd bring it up. Now, what I do like about this commercial were two major things. Russell Crowe's in it, and the second thing was the look of the movie. Now, the story of Noah is biblical. We're not going to get on discussion whether you're Christian, Buddhist, Muslim, or atheist. We're not going to get into that. But I did think that the movie, or rather the commercial for the movie, the trailer, seemed non-biblical. It seemed like it was an action-packed movie with a lot of really cool things going on. There may be some divine moments in the movie, and that's something that we'll see once we see the movie. But overall, the movie looks great, and I definitely think it's a must-see once this movie comes out. The second thing, Need for Speed. Now, personally, I think if the Need for Speed movie came out before Fast and Furious, I think Need for Speed would have been, I think it could have been damaging at the point, just because the games didn't really have any real storyline. It wasn't until much later that some of the games, like Most Wanted and stuff like that, actually had a bit of more storyline to them. But now that we have all this stuff now in Fast and Furious, it's definitely possible that it can have a storyline. Now, the problem I see is that Need for Speed may be too related to Fast and Furious. Everybody, I feel like, is going to start comparing the two, and they're not going to treat them as separate entities. So that's going to be something that we're going to have to wait and see once the movie comes out. But, however, during the trailer, I did get a sort of video game feel from it, and I definitely want to give my hats off to the cinema photographers. Sorry, it's kind of late. Cinema photographer, whatever. To those guys, definitely the movie felt like it. The trailer felt like it was a bit of the game. Now we saw a lot of different cars, a lot of car scenes, a lot of different drivers, and I think that's cool to kind of help establish the characters. Didn't really establish the story, in my opinion, too much, but definitely it looks like it's good to see. I think with the next couple trailers that we'll see before its release will be more, okay, maybe this is worth watching, or hey, this isn't going to be like Fast and Furious. So I think one more time we'll see how that plays out. The next commercial that came on later on was, and this may or may not be related to, I guess, the overall show, but the Radio Shack commercial had a bunch of memes and, well, not a bunch of memes, but a lot of it was just fandom things. I definitely think this commercial was worth wrestling. Right off the bat, I remember Hulk Hogan, Sergeant Slaughter was in there too, Chucky and a couple other characters, Alf and the DeLorean from Back to the Future was in there. A lot of great things, and definitely I think for tomorrow's episode, I'm going to try to break down the commercial a little bit more, and we're going to try to pick out each character and stuff like that, and we'll see how that goes on. But I definitely think it was worth mentioning. I thought it was kind of funny, the commercial. So that was very great. Next, Transformers. I have got to say, the Dinobots are freaking awesome, and we get our first look at Grimlock. Now, Grimlock kind of looks like a dragon from that one scene where they're in... I believe they actually filmed it in China. I don't know if they're going to be in China during the movie, but where Optimus is on his back, he looks like a dragon, but he looks freaking dope. And then later on, the other Transformers that you see too, oh my god, that movie looks like it's gonna be so awesome. They kind of played the story. It looks like something's gonna happen with Marky Mark's daughter. I guess she's gonna get captured or something like that, and that may not be the whole premise of the movie, but definitely that's gonna kind of maybe play a part in how the story plays out, as Mark Wahlberg with his daughter and with the third person who we don't know yet at this time. I'll definitely have to look more up about that, and definitely I could cover that tomorrow. We'll see. Definitely want to cover some other information as well. But definitely Transformers definitely looks like a must-see. The next thing was the second half of the SpiderMan trailer. Now, I believe it was earlier today or yesterday we got our first teaser. I guess the first part of the two-part trailer, and there was a bit of a teaser kind of thing. It definitely was awesome. And then the one we saw today during the Super Bowl, definitely a lot cooler. You see better looks at what Goblin, what Electro, and Rhino look like, and then it shows you more, especially with that beginning part, shows you more of the balance that Peter and Spider-Man are going to have to face. You know, Peter dealing with Gwen, and then Spider-Man dealing with his hero. Definitely is going to be something very interesting that's going to play a really big part, and I definitely think it's going to help Andrew Garfield grow as a character. Not as an actor, but as the character, as Peter the character. I think it's going to help him grow. And it's really going to be really awesome. I definitely think it's going to be awesome. Now, the next trailer that happened, apparently I missed it, so I had to end up watching it afterwards. And what's really sad was that this trailer was one that I have been looking forward to for so long. The Captain America Winter Soldier trailer. I'm a big Captain fan, a huge Captain fan. And I'm super excited for this movie. And when I saw the trailer, just even more excited. We see the Winter Soldier himself, and I'm not going to go into spoilers, but we see him there. We see Black Widow. We see a little bit of how Winter Soldier's background is. We see more of the Falcon, and then the whole thing with the carrier just crashing in, and then Nick Fury and all that thing. Oh man, it's just there's a lot of really high-pack action stuff, and then of course they show part of the elevator fight scene that you see in the earlier trailer for the movie, and that was awesome back then. Now, you know, they kind of took just little pieces of it, but you know, it's just a great overall trailer, and I'm definitely super excited, especially since it's coming right after my birthday. My birthday is on the 2nd. It's coming on the 4th, and it's going to be super exciting, super awesome. Can't wait. And then, as far as FanBoy trailers, I think that was it. However, I did want to mention one for TV, since I have to cover movies, TV, games, and comic books. I definitely think it's something really awesome as well. The show that was supposedly finished, 24, coming back in May. I thought the trailer was really awesome. I thought it was going to be for a movie. I kind of didn't really get it with the British flag that you see on the car that's upside down in the beginning. And then once I saw Sutherland, I think Kiefer Sutherland, once you see him, I immediately knew. I was like, this has to be 24. It can't be anything else. Or I guess it probably could have been, but 24 was the first thing that came on mind. And as soon as you see the like digits of the numbers just start flying into the screen, I was like, 24. Oh my god. So I liked the show. I thought the show was really awesome. Personally, if you haven't seen that, definitely recommend watching it now if you want to stay tuned to it, because it is coming in May. So if you just knock out all the seasons and boom, 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 you should be able to catch up. So I thought that was awesome. Now, there were some other great commercials. I'm not going to lie. However, I do believe this year the Super Bowl commercials weren't as awesome or as highly anticipated as, I don't think it was last year, but maybe the year before. So there were a lot of misses with some of the commercials, but I want to know what you guys think. Go ahead and post your comments on the section down below. If you guys want to tweet me any of your comments or thoughts, go ahead and do that. But we're going to go over just a little bit more of the information that I went over so far. So with these trailers, I definitely think there were some really high points. However, one thing I do want to mention about a lot of the FanBoy ones is that we're kind of... I don't think it was just the FanBoy trailers either. I think there were some leaks here and there. It's like, oh, this is what the trailer is. watch it now instead of wait for the Super Bowl, and I think that kind of took away from the anticipation. But at the same time, it's just a lot of trailers. They seem like regular trailers you would see on any given day. Now, granted, usually after the Super Bowl, you do see those trailers leading up to the Super Bowl, and then once the Super Bowl happens, usually these commercials, you know, you're like super excited for, and once you see them the first time, you're like, so awesome. It didn't really happen this time, but that's just my personal opinion. But yeah. So listen, go ahead. If you guys got any questions for tomorrow's show or any questions about the commercials today, go ahead and post it downstairs. Go ahead and click that subscribe button. Go ahead and tweet me, email me if you guys have any questions. I'll go over more information tomorrow, possibly for some of the trailers that we saw today. But apart from that, I want you guys to have a wonderful weekend, a beautiful evening, and I shall see you guys on the next video.